Okay, thank you. Yeah, and when it's not, I just forget. Okay, so we will start from the beginning. No. Okay, so let's see. So if I put the VCO to the steps, I wish there was a way to actually see what happens inside, but what happens is that the waveform changes the amount of steps from 1 to 8 according to the waveform of the oscillator. Now I put it quite low on 29, so it's not like crazy going. And let's hear what it does here to the snare. Actually, it will be easier to follow if I just put 2. Now it did it. Finally. Maybe we need the rate to be a bit faster. So that's the rate of change of the steps, of how many steps it goes every round. Yeah, these are the cool moments of sudden change. Now I can take this moment that it hits there. I can also change the FM of this, the frequency modulation. Well, it will be very subtle for us. So let's do something else. Let's say in this moment that the snare sequence hit in the middle, it will change the frequency modulation of the bell. You see? So let's see what happens. Okay. Anything you are curious to check before I move on? Or questions? If you didn't understand anything that I did here, please ask.
What did you say the steps connection was for? The rate of change that controls the rate of change of like whatever you're controlling every time you hit the trigger.
Okay, great. So remember that we have a control rate and audio rate as controlling some other features, controlling sound or controlling anything. The audio rate is above 20 hertz and control rate is below 20 hertz. An oscillator gives us frequencies, right? And with specific waveform. And here it's actually in the middle. I think it's in between triangle and sawtooth here. So that's the kind of coming in and out of the sign, I mean the waveform of how much it pushes it to the maximum and how much it pushes it back to the minimum. And what is the rate is the rate of the frequency of how many times per second it happens, that kind of change. Now, what do we control with that is the the thing that changes. So if I control with that kind of waveform, with that kind of rate, I control the steps, then the maximum steps are 8. So it goes tack, 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 tack. But the minimum steps are just 1. So it will just stay on the 1 when it's on the minimum side of the oscillator. So when the oscillator is on its minimum, then the steps, the amount of steps repeating would be on the minimum, which is 1. And then as the wave form goes up and up to its maximum level, then it will control the steps to go up and up in the amount of steps that it triggers. Okay, and then it will go back to 1. Now, because this is not all the time, actually we can make it happen all the time, and then we can maybe assess the differences that happen. Okay, let's do that. So this is the snare, which is second. Let's hear. That's a problem because it's the snare. Let's do the bells that has differences. I guess I need a little bit lower. You know what? Just for the sake of hearing it, I will stop the modulation here. Doesn't want to do it. Let's do it on sine wave. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Let's try this way. Now it does it. You see, it stays only here now, only in this, until it will go all the way up. Now it will go up.
Okay, so to be clear, can you let me know if this is right? So it sounds like that when you're sort of clicking on the sequencer that wants to trigger, like that's you're basically setting the minimum, and then when you're connecting it to the VCO, that's adding like extra, like up to 8 steps every time it oscillates.
No.
Okay.
Maxwell, do you have another explanation that can maybe work? Or Stefan?
Trying to think of the right way.
Colin, can you repeat your question?
Yeah.
So it sounds like the VCO, when you connect it to the sequencer, like changes in this way. It changes the number of times the sequencer gets triggered as it goes through.
Yeah. In this, yeah, this is the beginning of understanding what it does, and then as it goes up, it goes to more triggers, and it goes down, it goes to less triggers.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's sort of changing the length of the pattern over time.
Yes.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
Nice. That's
okay.
a nice wording. Thanks. you. Okay, great. So this is the what we call here again the mutable instrument that we can create different patterns of drumming. Let's see how we can do it even more irregular. So if we change the reset to come not from the first, let's say from the second. Okay, so that's that. And now I want to show you how to actually create a kick drum from scratch. So first, let's hear this final result of some patch I created here with that. This needs to be some. Okay. The main part here is the kick. Not that. That's something I did some extra stuff. Okay, forget it. The main thing happens when we take VCO, and let's start with just having a MIDI CV, so we use it for to trigger the kick. Now we need a filter that will filter the oscillation to be quite low, and we need the VCA and ADSR to make an envelope of a short burst of sound. Okay, so let's take the mixer as well and route those here. And now we take a sine wave, go into the filter. We take a low pass, goes into the VCA, that goes out into the mixer. This ADSR controls the VCA. Otherwise, what we have is a constant sound. And this is good for drone and stuff like that, but that's not the aim today. And since we want something to control it, we take the out of ADSR and control the VCA so it stops. And we gate it with the MIDI CV. This goes also to the scope just to see what's happening, but we don't need it. So, or maybe we do want to see when the gate is open. So that's pretty good. Low frequency, maybe lower. Yeah, quite short, so very short attack, half decay, no release, halfway, no sustain, and halfway release. So that's just the kind of tapping. But at the same time, we need a little bit of opening of the sound, of the resonance. So what we are going to do is to take also another ADSR that is a little bit different. It has a little bit shorter, it has a short attack still, shorter decay, and no sustain, and a little bit of release that goes into the frequency modulation. So it will kind of open also the frequency as we trigger it. So we will trigger it at the same time with the same attack. So already gives a little bit more sound to the kick. Okay, if I open, look what happened. So that if you want to make a shotgun, like a laser gun, this is how you do that. And this is how they make it in the MIDI instruments. But that's not our aim today. This is pretty good. Maybe a bit more release. Okay, good. Next, I want to have a little bit of noise also that comes with it. So I take noise and I filter it like the way we do in what type of synthesis? What is it called? Noise goes into a filter. Come on, give me the word. No, give it out loud, not in a chat. Huh?
Subtract.
Yeah, subtractive. Yes, thank you. Subtractive.
Maxwell said it first.
It's okay.
But I had the same thought as him, so.
Good. Great. So we take also a VCA to control the level and ADSR. And again, we want to trigger it exactly at the same time with the same attack. And what we are doing here is to take a red or pink noise. We could also do red, but okay, pink noise. And we go with the high frequency, high pass frequency into the VCA that goes out into the mixer. And that happens because we need still to control the VCA. So we take the ADSR and take it into the VCA, and now it stops it until it will get a trigger in the gate. So now I can put it back. And yeah, let's hear only that. So it's almost like a little click that is higher pitch. I can, with this, you can even really pretend that there is like a clapping sometimes. It can also sound like rain if you make it happen a lot. So what we have here is really everything is short. Attack, decay, sustain, release. Everything is short, 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 short. Okay? And together, it just gives you all the elements that happen in the kick drum. Okay? The low frequency, the little bit of resonance, and a little bit of this noise. And now again, we can take a sequencer and instead of using our hand to do this, we can decide, actually here what I want is that the kick itself, the first kick, so it's the first ADSR here, I want it to happen only in the first beat of the sequencer. So every 8. Yeah. Now with it, I want also the resonance that happens. Yeah, I can even open a little bit the resonance more. Yeah. Nice. And the last one, I want it to come from here, but also maybe I want also that it will be completely from the continue. Yeah. Okay. Now, what else should we do here? Now I want to make it irregular. What should I do? Suggestions.
Sorry, you're wanting to make your pattern irregular?
Yeah, I want it to phase into something that is irregular. Things that will happen on the way that are sudden, that are different, that are surprising.
Gotta get some sample and hold in there.
What?
Sample and hold.
Wait.
So random, but
yes, random, yes. So we can take noise, which is randomness. If we don't want the whole noise to happen, by the way, we can also route it into filter only as a controller. Yes. So let's say we take a white noise into a filter and filter how much comes out of it. Let's say like this. Into what?
on here you run it into a random module, right? I'm trying to remember what the sample and hold module is.
The module random. Okay. Right. Yeah. How do you want to route it?
So I mean, I think routing it into the clock is probably fine.
Into the clock? Let's see. So you see, now you will see how it works. I just check. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's just check. So the trigger,
Well, that's the input.
right. So we
I
have
think you have a stepped output. I think.
step
Rate on the random module.
What are you saying?
The rate on the random module should be down also, as well as the clock on the sequencer. Yeah, this random module is very confusing for me.
It is very confusing. I'm
It doesn't
also
work like a sample and hold module does. Like you don't just like put noise into it and then sort of select bands and things.
yeah, I'm still figuring this one out actually, to be honest.
Let me see if there's a different sample and hold module.
But let's see what happens if we do this actually with the noise going into the clock. Okay, let's make it faster. Not yet very let's
There's a
instead
Bog Audio sample and hold module that could be good to try.
what? Which one?
Bog Audio has a sample and hold module that could be good to try. I think it's just called SNH. It's one of the skinny ones.
Let's use only things that we already saw. So
Gotcha.
maybe Editator will be interesting, actually. Now, if we want to use the row here, we can into some other things, like for example the Editator, and then we can route this into here. Now it doesn't change. Why? Because the whole row is down. So if I change, change the width to be completely awkward. Steps don't want to change, so we will only use the most easy thing is to use an LFO. We can always do something to the partial. See what happens. Let's do something to the clock. So in this case, I always need a VCA to control the amount of wave that comes from an LFO. Otherwise, it's just too far for anything. So what I want is to take it through a VCA, take the VCA down, and now go to the clock and see what happens. Maybe exponential. Now I can also control the VCA here with another LFO that will bring it up and down. Starts to click. But that's also because of Zoom. Okay. That's just basics of how to create drums or kick drum more specifically, and using the sequencer in very interesting, like start to think about how to modulate things, how to check what can change, what does it change when I control this into this, when I control this into that. Okay, good. Okay, so now we move on into seeing how to basically, what happens when we record this into Reaper, and what's next, what happens next, what can we do with this in a more experimental way. So you do have some basic idea here of how to use VCV rack in many different styles that you would like. And now we will take those materials and let me just take this off. And make it more interesting in the sense of creating completely new worlds. Because now we are starting to think about your final project, actually. Even though you are still not going to do your final, like create your final project, but you have to start to think about it. And what it is very simple. You do anything you want. The only one thing that you need to follow is that you are creating a new world, new kind of soundscape. And when you create a new soundscape, you really need to think outside of this universe, outside of what is happening in our world and how things happen. For example, musically, it can't be like very musical in the sense of rhythm and patterns. It can be, it can have some kind of a pattern, but I feel that when it goes into a rhythm and it goes into something that is very familiar to us, then we lose the aspect. What? I have another place that my email is open. Where is it? Okay, let's continue. Completely close Chrome. That's it. Yeah, so just start to imagine what is your world, what kind of frequencies do you hear there, where is it another planet, is it just outer space, is it just like alternative world, anything like think sci-fi kind of direction. And then think what type of entities are around. Are there living things there, or is it all still and just nature, like let's say rocks, and that's it? And or is it all just water, or everything is like made of gas, or I don't know, like things that we can imagine, but they are not really something that happens in our world completely. Some things can be part of what we have in our world, but you know, just go out and explore your imagination, okay? And then try to think how it is going to sound, what frequencies, what rhythms, what types of envelopes will be there in order to create that world. And with that in mind, your next assignment that is assigned on Wednesday will be to take what you recorded now and maybe record some more, and start to create bank of sounds in Reaper from those synthesized sounds first. Later on, we will also record more sounds in the studio, actually, that will give you more material. And in the end, you will just put the material together to create your world, okay? So let's go through again how to record from VCV to Reaper. And I heard some problems and that happened to some people. Do you want to actually talk about it?
Yeah, I was having an issue. It was in the studio where I would record into black hole from the audio channel, but the sound quality was just awful. Like it didn't sound like it should have. Like it sounded really crunchy and bad.
Yeah.
And then I would record it and it would sound the same in the recording.
It was crunchy in the recording itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can happen probably from a doubling somewhere on the way of the sound, because you said that in VCV it sounded fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's see what I do right now and see what happens. Actually, I showed it at the very beginning of our class today also. So I route from VCV to black hole. I go to my Reaper session, and in my computer, normally I would put it on aggregate device, the audio, the sound. But right now it's on Zoom just so you can hear it. And here, oof, I still hear my stuff here. Okay. I actually like better the other one, so let's open that. Okay. So here, as you probably did, you go to preferences. You don't see my sharing of Reaper, right? I will share my desktop. Okay. So here I go to aggregate device inside the device setup, right? This is all familiar to you? This is what you did? Okay, good. And now here I say go to either mono, but I don't choose the first one here. I choose black hole, yeah? Or stereo. And again, I don't choose the first one because this is just my sound card. What I want is the black hole. So I choose that. I chose the stereo one. And here I tell it go to input, audio, and MIDI. Okay, so now I will play my VCV and also put it together here. Sorry. I mean, right now you probably will have some performance issues because of Zoom as well. It's interesting, wow. It's kind of like changed because of the routing. Anyway, a little bit. But what's important is that the meter goes to the places I want before I record. So I think since the top goes here to -18, I can give it a little bit more level. It's really funny about the reset. Okay, much better. Okay, here. I think it's nice, in nice levels now, and I record. After I started recording, I can start to actually play here things that I want to save in the Okay, let's say. Now, this is what I have here. Let's listen to it. Yeah, sounds very similar. Good. Now what I want is to make it closer to what, whoa, that was funky. Closer to what I want this to become. And let's see. I'm going to cut it, slice, slice, slice. This is, by the way, not related to what you need to do for this Wednesday. Don't worry. This relates to something you need to do after that. What you need to do for this Wednesday is just creating this recording and then decide on your sequence that goes from, let's say, the regular to irregular, and then just put them together one after the other and make it one sequence. Now I'm going to double things here and see how I can make a sound, just sound by itself from this. Okay, interesting. I want something from the end, actually. Yeah, it was more different. Let's say I take that. I put them on top of each other. Now, since I don't want regularity and I have this regular drum that comes in, I'm going to change that. And that's really, really nice to do, to start from a regular pattern and then brings it in and out in a way that you don't hear the regularity anymore. So what do we need is volume. So let's say I'm just thinking about the volume of the first one, and I will just examine it right now with this volume. And this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to trim. Maybe first I will trim the actual gain, which is our pre-FX volume. So it will change the waveform here. Remember? And I can do this by just doing that. Assessing, let's see. Too far. You see, that's why it's less good. What's going on?
Dr. Elias, I'm not hearing that. I don't know if anybody else is.
No, I didn't hear that either. I did something. I did something wrong. The volume went completely down. That's why.
Are you intending to be shaping the volume pre-FX envelope and not the general envelope? Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm attempting to do. I just, for some reason, pushed the volume envelope down completely. So I'm putting it back on 0. Okay, let's forget about this one for now. What I like to do is to shape the envelope of the wave form of the sound itself. So it won't be anymore this. No. When I shape the pre-FX, I change completely the sound. So still too, it happens too regular for me. So I'll make it appear in different spots. Okay, let's say. Now I want the second one. I'm going to do similar thing. But, you know, I actually like to listen to it and work in the moment that it happens. So what I want is to put it on touch. There is touch, there is latch, and there is write. Right? They do this a little bit in a different way. Let's do it with touch. So what I'm going to use is the actual slider to do this. I can also do that with the mixer, and it's basically the same. Maybe it's easier on the mixer to do this because it goes up. So, which you can actually design as you like. Also, if you want this to be up, you could also design that, but we won't go through this now. Okay, I'm going to do this. No, I don't like some things happened again. Interesting. I have some crackles there. Did you hear that? These
It's because you've exceeded the.
Yeah, sometimes, but also even when I didn't. Yeah, I know I exceeded the 0. Although sometimes it's okay if the level initially was not very high. You see, the most important part is how the level looks here eventually. And it looks quite low anyway, so it's something related to the recording itself. Actually, that's fine. Yeah, this went a little too far. See this? Okay. Okay. Well, that's only the beginning of starting to recreate this material and to build it and sculpt it until I I find the actual, the way I want it to happen, which is much more blend. Let's do another one. By the way, after you do this kind of mixing, you probably want to change it back instead of latch or touch to trim read again. So if you change things, it won't like change your envelope again if you don't want to, to change it anymore. Now let's see what happens here. They are all very similar. The best thing is to mix between something like that and something that is completely different. But we will now do that only. Okay, where's the touch? And that's what I want to do. You see, I'm experimenting right now in front of you. And I see that for this material, I think the best thing is to bring it like a square wave, like in pulses. So I'm going to do that. Now I think the crackles happen only because I'm on Zoom and doing this recording of the envelope, and it's a lot of CPU. But in the end, the recording itself came back clean, so it's fine. So let's do what I wanted to do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now let's hear it with the others. Okay. This one was actually the most spectacular part, I think. Let's listen to that. Okay. So, and you see, I really care about each one of these tracks, and this is only one layer, the volume. And then we will, in next time, we will explore more manipulations that you can do only on this one specific material that we are sculpting to make one specific sound as a like for our bank of sounds. So let's hear that one. Let's make this trim read. It's interesting that it doesn't happen automatically on Reaper. Maybe I can define it probably in the in, for example, Pro Tools, when you put it on touch, after you did the round, it will go to trim and read immediately, so you to prevent any mistakes. Anyway. Okay. I guess I would like this to be also doubled by itself. But okay. Next time. Let's hear it all together. Now imagine that I squish all this in time and in pitch and in with frequency filter and so on, and until it becomes something else. Like this whole thing will kind of melt. This is what I want to achieve eventually. But we will continue that on Wednesday. That's it. That's what I have for you today. Any questions? No? No? Okay. Some problems with your assignments. Everything goes well. You record. You tried to record already.
I think I already emailed you about this, but the recording went okay, but my final thing had like, it has some like silent moments in the middle, but I think that is just my fault, so. But
Yeah.
another thing,
Yeah, because you have silence, cut it and put them together.
yeah, and that's what I did, but maybe I like missed some and I didn't see it. I'm wondering if you want me to change that or just leave it, because I already uploaded it because I thought that it was due today, but I think it was due Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so would you prefer I just leave it as is or try to?
I mean, if you can fix it, that would be the best.
Okay,
You.
I can try to fix it. Yeah, I
Okay.
think there also might be like one moment where there is like a hiccup instead of it transitioning fully, but I think most of it transitioned pretty well, so it should be okay.
Okay. Good. Anyone else? Good. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this, and see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.